天运七系皆已设宴，诸位，请入座。
Wang Lin, after entering the Heavenly Fate Sect Tian Yunzi sect, quickly revealed his formidable strength, which led Tian Yunzi, the sect leader, to accept him as a direct disciple. However, this also caused him to provoke senior brother Xianxia, who feared that Wang Lin would compete for the title of the Seven Sons of Heavenly Fate with him. As a result, Xianxia gathered many people to form a formation to trap Wang Lin, preventing him from attending the 10,000-year banquet of Tian Yunzi, intending to stop him from participating in the contest for the position. However, Wang Lin broke through the encirclement and appeared at the banquet. Moreover, his cultivation had reached the mid-soul transformation stage. When he made his move, he killed second senior brother and trapped his original spirit inside a soul banner. In the next moment, he coldly looked at Xianxia, who, upon facing Wang Lin, revealed a sinister smile. He loudly accused Wang Lin of the heavy crime of killing second senior brother, stating that there was no need for him to act himself. The elders of the sect would handle the situation, and Wang Lin would be handed over to his master for punishment. But Wang Lin, with a determined attitude and a cold voice, declared that anyone who obstructed him would be his enemy. He then advanced forward with a murderous aura surrounding him. The elders of the law enforcement sect exchanged looks of hesitation, but none of them actually moved to stop him. Xianxia's face turned ugly. As he retreated, he sought help from Bai Wei and Fourth Elder, who were standing nearby. Fourth Elder calmly responded, stating that the debt of gratitude was already paid, and he had no intention of competing for the title of the Seven Sons of Heavenly Fate. With his expression darkening, Xianxia declared that he had originally intended to reserve his secret technique for the competition, but now he was forced to use it prematurely. He immediately formed a seal and chanted an incomprehensible incantation. Wang Lin, unfazed, spat out a soul banner and waved his hand. Instantly, countless main souls surged from the vessel, rushing toward Xianxia. At the same time, Wang Lin threw out a ring of godly power which vibrated and transformed into Xianxia, god-shooting sand beside him. Just then, a huge shadow appeared above Xianxia's head. It was a monstrous demon shadow towering at 100 meters high, with two horns protruding, a vaguely visible form exuding malevolent energy. Strange blue patterns faintly appeared on its body, and its claws were as sharp as swords. The entire figure exuded an eerie aura. The demon shadow closed its eyes, and its head slowly moved as if it were about to wake up. Xianxia's face turned pale. Clearly, this technique consumed immense energy. The magic runes on his forehead flashed repeatedly, and with each flicker, the demon shadow solidified more and more, while Xianxia's body weakened a little. As soon as the demon shadow appeared, the crowd around was terrified and quickly retreated. Even several peak stage cultivators changed their expressions. Among them, the most powerful Zhang Chanzhen whispered, "Could this be the ancient demon from legend?" The person beside him asked, and he cautiously replied, "It looks very similar." Wang Lin continued to command the main souls to attack. Xianxia snapped his fingers, and the demon shadow behind him moved in sync. He raised his hand, and a strange force radiated from his fingers, not spiritual energy, nor immortal power, but a demonic force that turned into a red vortex, drawing in all the main souls. Wang Lin immediately waved his soul vessel, withdrawing the souls in time. At that moment, the demon shadow suddenly opened its two eyes, its icy gaze seemingly capable of freezing everything. A thunderous roar followed, and it stretched its hand out to grab Wang Lin. Xianxia's body was also controlled by the demon shadow, its movements synchronized. Wang Lin quickly retreated, changing his magic seal, and struck the battle chariot. Instantly, a soul beast roared and charged at the demon shadow with an indomitable momentum. The demon shadow ignored Wang Lin and turned to grab the soul beast, but the beast was fearless, charging straight through the demon shadow's body. The demon shadow's face twisted, and it pulled the beast out from its chest, its cold gaze fixed as it opened its mouth wide, ready to devour it. At the critical moment, a voice suddenly rang out from deep within the Tian Yunzi sect, commanding the demon shadow to stop. As the words ended, the demon shadow's body trembled, its eyes showing signs of struggle. Though it was extremely reluctant, it eventually released the soul beast and rapidly shrank, turning into a beam of light that entered Xianxia's forehead. The magic runes on his forehead flickered a few times and then slowly disappeared. His body shook and he spat out a mouthful of blood, clearly suffering from a severe backlash. Though severely injured, he still glared fiercely at Wang Lin, a sinister smile curling at the corner of his mouth. At that moment, dark clouds rolled in and a figure clad in red robes appeared, carrying a wine gourd on his back. His face was flushed from drinking and a strong alcohol scent radiated from his body. He complained that the trouble caused by them had interrupted his drinking and now Tian Yunzi had summoned him to intervene. Wang Lin withdrew his magical tools and calmly sat down at his place. Xianxia forced himself to perform a salute, but was immediately scolded by the old man, who pointed at him, saying that using an impure demonic spirit would result in punishment. Afterward, the old man grabbed Xianxia and turned to Wang Lin with a smile, reassuring him that Tian Yunzi valued him highly. He then affirmed that Xianxia would no longer have the qualification to compete for the title of the 7 Sons of Heavenly Fate. He apologized to the other cultivators present and quickly left with Xianxia in tow, disappearing into the red clouds. Wang Lin alone sat and drank deep in thought. He recalled Xianxia's magic technique, which was not like a typical spiritual attack or entirely like the divine powers of the ancient gods, but more likely a demonic spirit power that had just begun to form. Cultivators from various sects came to toast Wang Lin, all of them noticing how much Tian Yunzi valued him. Furthermore, Wang Lin had forced Xianxia to use his secret technique, injuring himself in the process. These experienced cultivators naturally wished to make connections with the future 7 Sons of Heavenly Fate. Wang Lin understood that in order to maintain his position in Tian Yunzi, he needed to build good relationships with other sects. With a smile, he politely returned the gesture. As the night fell and the banquet began to break up, Wang Lin bid farewell to the important figures and approached 4th senior sister. She mentioned the teleportation technique and handed him a jade slip. In addition to the agreed-upon forbidden teleportation spell, it also contained a secret technique created by Tian Yunzi to simulate immortal techniques given as an apology. Wang Lin thought for a moment before accepting it. After all, the other party's cultivation was profound, but they had never truly acted against him. Back at the Zilin Pavilion, Wang Lin immediately began studying the jade slip. The principle of the great Nazi forbidden spell relied on the use of time distortion chariot to continuously teleport through self-imposed ceiling. While the principle was simple, it was extremely dangerous. If the time control was off, one could be sucked into a space crack, and the landing point would be difficult to predict. Wang Lin tried to perform it, and after taking 7 steps, the silver light dissipated. A powerful force immediately threw him 100,000 meters away to a mountain peak. He was thrilled, as this type of long-distance teleportation was something only peak-seeking stage could achieve. Afterward, he continued to study the second secret technique. This was a unique method of utilizing immortal force, causing it to swirl and circulate within the body. The longer the accumulation, the stronger the power. However, Wang Lin did not immediately begin cultivating. Instead, he sought a quiet place to contemplate. He had always acted with caution. Even though his 4th senior sister had generously imparted the forbidden technique, he still needed to ensure there were no flaws. After thoroughly studying it, he confirmed that this was indeed a genuine, immortal technique. What drew his special attention was a cultivation method called the 9 Turns Immortal Refinement Art. Comparing it to the killing technique that Situnan had once taught, Wang Lin decided to give it a try. At this point, he had already reached the Nascent Soul stage, transforming his body from a mortal shell into an immortal body. Though his aptitude was only average, it far surpassed what it used to be. This was also why, in the past, he had relied more on treasures than on spells. Cultivating spells required extremely high spiritual roots. Sometimes, when one's talent was insufficient, no matter how much effort was made, comprehension was nearly impossible. Meanwhile, those with excellent aptitude could understand with a single attempt. Wang Lin cautiously divided a strand of immortal force, guiding it according to the formula through several special meridians. When the first cycle was completed, he felt a sharp power being born. Continuing into the second cycle, the sensation increased tenfold, accompanied by stabbing pain. By the time the third cycle was complete, the immortal force turned violent, rampaging within his body and bringing heart-rending agony. At that moment, he noticed a bizarre phenomenon. After 3 cycles, the immortal force transformed into golden color, completely different from the usual white immortal force. Other streams of immortal force, whenever they encountered this golden energy, instinctively avoided it, as if facing a higher tier of power. Wang Lin guided this special immortal force, gathering it in his left hand. Only then did the rest of the immortal force return to normal flow, but his left arm became a forbidden zone that none dared to enter. Though curious about this new power, Wang Lin did not rush to test it. Instead, he continued practicing the great Nazi step, De Nazi. With silver light flashing, he took 7 steps and vanished instantly. When he reappeared, he was already outside Purple Sect Zizong. Though not yet fully familiar with the continuous teleportation speed, he had basically grasped this divine ability. By then, dawn was breaking. A new day had begun, the day of Tian Yunzi's preaching of the Tao, a grand ceremony held once every 10,000 years on Tian Yun planet. Not only disciples of his sect awaited this, but cultivators from the 4 directions also came to celebrate, all eagerly anticipating. As daylight spread, disciples of the 7 sects appeared one after another, each in their distinctive colors. The red sect Hongzong arrived with 7 disciples in fiery robes. The orange sect Chengzong likewise had 7. All other sects appeared in full formation. Only Purple Sect Zizong had 3 disciples present, immediately drawing cold and mocking gazes from the other 6 sects. Wang Lin calmly observed the disciples, recognizing several familiar faces. Sima Ru Feng from the Blue Sect Lanzong had reached Great Circle of Incarnation. A Wang clansman from the Green Sect Qingzong was already half a step into Ascendant. Even more surprising to Wang Lin was a middle-aged man he had once briefly seen in the Immortal Realm. Now he had become the 4th disciple of the Orange Sect, his cultivation vastly stronger than before. Wang Lin was secretly shaken. The overall strength of Tian Yun's sect far exceeded his imagination. Any single branch alone could sweep through Suzaku planet. At that moment, his 4th martial sister secretly explained via voice transmission the reason for Purple Sect's decline. There had been too much internal strife, the title of 7 Tian Yunzis changing constantly, unlike the other sects with stable inheritances. Meanwhile, the common disciples of all 7 sects began joining in. The crowd grew denser. Behind the red sect trailed countless disciples, each with extraordinary cultivation, making Purple Sect appear weak in comparison. Beyond them were countless cultivators from all around who had come to celebrate Tian Yunzi's longevity. Their numbers were overwhelming, and for the first time, Wang Lin truly felt the reverence the world held for Tian Yunzi. When Tian Yunzi appeared, stepping onto a 7-colored rainbow, all disciples knelt in unison, their voices shaking the heavens. After a simple greeting, he was about to begin his sermon when he suddenly invited an old acquaintance from the Cultivation Alliance. Before the countless astonished eyes of Cultivator's golden light gathered into a tall, middle-aged man exuding extraordinary bearing, with a 3-eyed violet beast perched on his shoulder. Though Tian Yunzi spoke politely, his demeanor was composed, showing that their statuses were equal. That man offered a golden flying sword. Tian Yunzi immediately passed it to the 1st disciple of the Yellow Sect, Huangzong. What shocked Wang Lin was that the 3-eyed beast suddenly disappeared. In the next instant it reappeared on his shoulder, its violet eyes shining with curiosity as it studied him. Wang Lin instantly grew wary, fixing his gaze on the creature. It had purple fur and 3 eyes glowing with eerie light, watching him with doubt. When Wang Lin locked eyes with it, especially its 3rd eye on the forehead, he saw within it the turning of star rivers, causing one's mind to sink in. He immediately recognized it. This was the cub of the stellar silver beast Xing Yin Shou, a race described in the inherited memories of the ancient god 2C. These creatures were born in the starry void. When mature, they could take on many forms. As cubs, their attack power was weak, but their speed was astonishing. They loved devouring spirit stones to accelerate evolution. In the era of ancient gods, this species often became close companions, especially fond of young ancient gods, for their aura allowed them to grow faster. Seeing the brilliance within its 3rd eye, Wang Lin estimated it was less than 10,000 years old. His heart stirred. He took out a top-grade spirit stone to feed it, but the beast ignored it, staring intently at him as if searching for something. Then in the blink of an eye, it disappeared. It seemed to sense the faint trace of ancient god aura on his body. Wang Lin then took out a piece of immortal jade. This time, with a flash of violet light, the beast snatched it and returned to its master's shoulder, chewing while glancing at Wang Lin's storage bag, clearly still craving what lay inside. The Grand Elder merely smiled at this scene, nodding toward Wang Lin. At this moment, Tian Yunzi began preaching. He said, "From qi condensation to ascendant is the first step in the Tao focused on cultivation. Then ascendant gives rise to the illusory and real together with the 3 stages of fragmentation comprising the second step, the process of turning cultivation into Tao. The third step is the pursuit of the true meaning of Tao 1, which even I am still exploring." A black-robed cultivator with a scarred face stood up and asked about cultivation in the third step. Tian Yunzi frankly admitted that he himself did not yet fully know, only that his Tao was that of heavenly fate, to follow the destiny of the heavens. As Wang Lin pondered, Tian Yunzi suddenly called his name, asking if he had any doubts. Before the attentive eyes of all, Wang Lin respectfully asked, "You speak of cultivation of the Tao. Then where did the terms immortal cultivation to Xian and cultivation of mortals to Zhen originate?" Tian Yunzi smiled approvingly and explained that immortal cultivation came from ancient times when the Immortal Realms still existed. Back then it was the sacred land of cultivators. When the Immortal Realm vanished, cultivators began to pursue truth, and thus the term Tu Zhen was born. But now, whether immortal or mortal, both were things of the past. What all cultivators sought was the Tao itself, not the heavenly Tao, but the path that led to the third step. These words caused an uproar. The mighty nodded in agreement, while the Grand Elder frowned and coughed lightly, signaling Tian Yunzi to restrain himself. Yet Wang Lin boldly asked another question. Does the third step truly exist? For the first time, Tian Yunzi revealed a look of reminiscence. 30,000 years ago, I too doubted this, until I met him, one who truly stepped into the third step. Hearing this, the Grand Elder's face instantly darkened, a trace of fear flashing in his eyes. The cultivators demanded to know who it was, but Tian Yunzi only affirmed that person had absolutely set foot into the third step. The Grand Elder hurriedly interrupted, preventing him from saying more.